Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Amanda, also known as I forgot my name for a second. Also known as Dramatic Mandy.
It's going to be one of those episodes. Come along for the ride with us. Anyway, if you're a returning viewer, thanks for putting up with our shenanigans. And if you're new, we're not always this kooky, but most of the time we are. And we hope that you'll come back in the future if you're new. If you are new and you don't know, Amanda's my sister.
That's what they say.
Steve's my brother. So...
That's what they say.
Yeah. Anyway.
Glad we didn't get any ancestry things for Christmas. It's hump day, guys.
Even though this is her first work day for this one, and she did like half a day because we had to record, and she's like, "Can I come in late?" Because she had to get this all done.
No.
I'm sorry. She just wakes up like that. She rolls out of bed.
Yeah.
Anyway, at least we're off to, a shenanigan-y, funny start, because I have been down with some sort of, I hope, stomach bug for the last 4 or 5 days, and no bueno. I'll just leave it at that. And Andy and I are leaving for Florida on Saturday, and I need to get better. So let's hope. Fingers crossed. So anyway, let's get into our 2 weeks in review, 2.5 weeks. We are sorry we did not record on Monday. We were going to record on Christmas Eve. And then that just fell through because I was still feeling like crap, honestly. And then Mandy wasn't feeling up to it. And then yesterday was Christmas and we kind of took that day off. So, here we are today. So, what's been going on? Well, the holidays we're now firmly into the holiday season. And so Andy and I, about a week and a half ago maybe, we had to buy a new computer. My old one was just randomly shutting down and stopping connecting to Wi-Fi, and then so anyway, that was an unforeseen expense, but is what it is. We needed a new one. Then we went back to Indiana on Saturday, and we had dinner with Andy's dad and his brother and sister-in-law at a restaurant called Tippecanoe Place. It is in South Bend, Indiana, and it is at it is a restaurant, and they have a nano brewery in there and like escape rooms, but it is the mansion of the Studebaker residence, the Cars. And so it was a beautiful home. We had some drinks up at the bar on the second floor, and then we had dinner in one of their many dining rooms. It was a bit interesting. It was a bit dated. The food was okay for what you were paying for it. It was not, but decent company. So in the holidays, what else could you ask for? So we stayed Saturday night. We got up Sunday, and Andy's mom had made soup and sandwiches and stuff, and we had the kids, niece and nephew over, and we did some quick lunch and gift exchange, and then Andy and I headed home. I still was not feeling well that whole weekend, so bleh. And so I spent a lot of Christmas Eve napping and yesterday and just trying to get over the stomach bug. But we had breakfast at our mom's in Mandy's apartment yesterday, and that was a good time. No family drama, really. So that's always a good thing. And I think everybody liked their gifts. And as much as every year we say, it's not going to be like last year, there's not going to be as many gifts, I think we're starting to pare down a little bit. But
I wish we would just stop.
Well, it's fun.
Or do like a, what do you call it?
White elephant? Secret Santa?
Yeah, I guess.
When there's 4 people, it's kind of like...
Well, it's not even that. It's just like everyone gets one present. Woohoo.
Yeah, but then it becomes totally like, with our family, it's what's the one thing you want? And if you don't get that one thing, they're going to just complain. So, that's how our mother is. If you don't get her exactly what she asks, She will tell you straight to your face it's not what you wanted and you can return it. Right? Yay! So you get her exactly what she wants. Only took 30 some odd years for me to learn that. Anyway, so, yeah. And we're slowly getting into a little bit of work before we head on vacation for about 6 days. 5-6 days. Big family vacation on Andy's side to Walt Disney World. And we met with the travel agent before we headed back home. And everything's pretty much planned out for us. We have 2 days in the park. We have all of our dinner reservations set up. Food's all done. Everything's ready to go. We have places to explore, ideas of where to go. We don't even have to worry about our luggage and all that stuff. I mean, it's a little... I'm type A. If you don't know, a type A personality is very much details, regimented, things go here, routine, certain way. This Disney World trip is like type AAA.
It's like type A on steroids.
Yes. So it's like this, that. Put your luggage tags on and your luggage will meet you at your room. Make sure you have your wristband on to catch the bus here to do this and everything. I'm like... Anyway, we're going to have a good time. It'll be fun. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it more than I was. So I think we'll have a good time and make the most out of it. And the weather's supposed to be nice, so there's always that. So anyway, that's been my 2 weeks. How about you?
What was your favorite Christmas gift? I know you didn't get many. Do you have a favorite?
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember them all.
Yeah, I don't even remember what Mom got. But
yeah, I don't know. I've learned you get home from Christmas and like we literally walk in the door and I put everything away because if not, it's just gonna sit there. So, I know Andy really liked your. Amanda got us a little alpaca llama in a Santa hat with glasses. I got a bigger one of those for the recently at Hobby Lobby, and she got a Santa one with a Santa hat and a red sparkly bow tie, and he hung that up even though I was like, we're going to take down Christmas decorations in a few days. But no, yeah, I can't remember anything.
Not memorable.
Wait, thanks for putting that on the spot.
I just thought I'd ask. I don't know.
Andy did something cute, which I'll show you in a little bit. But
I'm trying to think 2 weeks back, and I can't remember. So this weekend, that's when you left, right? Yeah, That's when you left. I was with the dogs. I do remember that. Oh, now I remember. 'Cause 2 weeks ago, or was it last week? I don't know. I've been having some weird back pain, though. Did you talk about we went to bingo?
No, we forgot.
Now I'm starting to... that was Friday, though. He took me to my very first, bingo, real
Big Money Bingo. That's actually the name of it.
Yeah.
Hall. In Bloomington, if you haven't been, that's where we go. We go once or twice a year. We actually hadn't been since Valentine's Day, because it was right before Stitches West, and then we went.
Yeah, I've never been before. I liked it, but I didn't win, so I didn't like it. You know what I mean?
I think she would have been hooked if she won something on the first time.
But this man...
I did. I won one game. I won $100. So that was exciting. Though I really only walked away with $15 after, food I bought there and the games we played. But it's exciting too because the last 2 times I've won. And I probably had went, I'd say under 10 times, but probably close to 10 times previously. And I never had won anything. So.
Yeah.
But.
Well, it was a good night because I got a bottle of wine afterwards. So. But then... Yeah, this weekend, hung out with the dogs, watched a show that is bomb, I'll tell you about later. And then Christmas happened, and he kind of talked about that. But I do have a favorite present, and he gave it to me. It's something, so, he got, what would you call it? A craft stand?
It's a stitching stand.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably do other things, but for those of you that don't know, I cross stitch now because of him, and he got me a stand for it, and it was something I didn't know that I wanted or needed until I saw it, and then I was like, yeah, I like that. Now that I'm using it, I'm like, yeah, I need that.
Well, and it makes it nicer for one. You can stitch with two hands, so you can have a hand under your work and on top.
I tried, and I'm so uncoordinated with this hand.
It takes some practice, but it will
Yeah.
speed you up.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is when you're not holding a Q-snap or a hoop or something in your hand, you don't get wrist fatigue, even though I know it does, when it's something small, it seems. But if you're sitting there for an hour or two, your wrist can stiffen up. So it holds your Q-snap in there, and it's just the one you can get at Hobby Lobby. I have one that I have gotten from Clems and Clems out of California that I got at the Michigan Fiber Festival 2 years ago, which was definitely more expensive. I would say the Hobby Lobby one is probably can do the same thing. They also have ones at Hobby Lobby that you can actually, it has like a paddle which you can put under your leg. So rather than it being on, hers is on the floor, you can actually have one that like you sit on, but then I was like, that really
It
limits how you can, you shouldn't be sitting on your legs or something, but like she can sit at the couch and do it. Now hers is a little more lightweight than mine. Mine has a very, very heavy metal base, where I do put my feet on it, but I don't have to, where I think you probably to stabilize it more. I don't know.
I didn't, sometimes I found myself putting my foot on there, but I really didn't have to.
Well, that's good. I think it would help too if you were sitting farther back on a couch, though. You could almost probably put the legs under the couch.
Well, the only problem is there's no under the couch with our couch because it's one of those. Because I wanted to do that because I wanted it. That was my issue, was I wanted to sit back and I wanted it closer to me, but I couldn't get the legs under the couch because our couch like lifts up, so it goes all the way down to the ground. There's no space whatsoever. But I kind of finagled it and it worked out.
I wonder if you brought the stand from the side. Is there room at the side?
I didn't think of that.
So if you put it under the couch at the side, and then you'd have to sit at the edge of the couch, but if you brought, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So instead of coming from the front.
Yeah.
So something to think about.
Sorry, we're figuring stuff.
Enthralling, isn't it? Anyway, so she got a stitching stand, so I'm glad. I really wanted to get that for her, and Andy was like, okay, but is she gonna like it?
Because I've always seen his, and I had no problem holding mine, and I don't think I ever showed interest in getting one, but when I opened it, I was like, oh yeah. And then automatically I was like, I could put that right there in that corner next to the couch. And then I was doing it yesterday and I was like, yeah, I actually really like this. And because it's going to be out next to the couch, I'm going to want to,
It'll be more motivating, right?
Yeah.
And she told me, she came into work today and she goes, so I was using the lamp on my phone, and then I was like, I don't want to stitch without a light now, but I can't. I was like, you need to get one of those clip-on book lights.
Yeah, I should. But yeah, because I just use whatever light I have if I got to squint, whatever. But I use the flashlight on my phone, and it kind of was able to rest on there. And at one point I tried to turn it off, and I was like, I can't see now. But
you get used to it.
Yeah. This is my second favorite Christmas gift, even though it's pink, and I don't like that, but my mom got me this.
Nice comfy hoodie. Yeah, I'm in I did shower today, but I was like, I threw on PJ stuff, so.
I didn't want to wash my hair. That's why I put it on. So that was my Christmas. Just chilled with my mom on the couch because Christmas is her favorite holiday. My least favorite, so I just gotta make her happy, even though she slept the entire time.
It's like you got to craft most of the day,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that's that, and I'm here today to tell you the story.
All right, well, let's get to the crafting. So what's taking a bow this week? I don't have anything. I have too many whips to make any progress on anything. I did block my boomerang that I finished last week, but I showed that to you unblocked last week, so I didn't bring it over to show you. But it is blocked, and I will eventually get finished object photos when I'm not feeling like crud to show you. So, what do you have finished, little sister? You have 2 things. So I'll just take one of them so that, I have a finished object and then you have a finished object.
This has never happened before. So, you know that knit along that we were doing? I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that has one done.
Pretty sure, yeah. So in the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group, not the Dramatic Knits group, we were doing a knit along through the end of the year for the Paulette shawl by Jen Lucas. And while a couple of people are participating, I'm not sure that anyone's going to get done by the end of the year, which I could extend the deadline, and I might, just so we get somebody finishing, to give them a prize, but we'll see. If
Yeah,
not,
I'm
we
not
might.
eligible for that.
You might get something.
Well, 1, I'm a part of it. 2, I didn't use any Leading Men Fiber Arts.
True. But maybe you'll get something out of my stash.
So, it's not blocked, so it's not as big as it will be. Also, I haven't woven in my ends, so don't judge me. But,
It's the wrong side.
I know, I was trying to figure it out.
Her lace looks pretty decent. As they say, unblocked lace can look like cat barf.
Oh.
Is usually
I
what
was
they
like,
say.
are you judging my
Nope.
lace?
So it starts over here.
Yeah. And I feel like it's going to get so much bigger
I
because
feel
it's
like
so,
it too.
like, it's so squishy and bouncy, but
I feel like you're going to gain a lot of depth
yeah.
because we carried yarns. This is her first time carrying yarns, and she
Yeah.
did a really good job, but that's the give that it's going to have, which is fine. I don't think it needs to grow much longer, you know what I'm saying? But the garter is going to...
Yeah.
So...
And then it
And then
keeps
look at
on
that lace edge.
going and going and going and going. And there we are. Yeah, it looks kind of cool.
All the lace she's been doing in our last couple of projects. So this is... What's the pattern?
The Paulette shawl. Or I think it's just called Paulette. But it is a shawl.
Yes, by... You wrote show notes for... You had it at your... Do you not have your contacts in?
By Jen Lucas. I used a German...
Wollmeise.
There we go. It didn't have a name. And also the Acme Fibers Bamberino in a random color with a U. That was gifted to me.
Just
and
color.
I know, but it's color with a U. It's fancy. Anyway, the pattern calls for a size 5, but like I've said before, I was lazy and I couldn't find my size 5, so I used a size 6. And I still think it looks nice, and I think it's gonna, once I block it, it's not gonna be too big or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's that. I like it. I'm just proud because I was so nervous. I was like, I'm never gonna get it done, but of course it's all I worked on. But
You're fine.
and I think those colors are really cute.
If we think about it, we'll block it before you leave. When we tear down,
Well,
we'll soak it. And you can always weave in your ends afterwards. Or I don't do this, but what a lot of people recommend is you weave in your ends, but don't cut them until after you block, because
oh yeah.
that way your ends don't poke. You know what I mean? They don't unweave when you stretch it.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's fully blocked and stretched, and then you cut them. I never do that because I'm lazy. But yeah.
So I got this done technically Saturday morning because Friday I was working on it and finishing it, and then we went to bingo, so I wasn't completely done, so then I finished on
We
Saturday.
tore her away from her bind off room.
Yeah. And then yesterday I was like, I want to cross stitch, but I'm not letting myself cross stitch until I get my boomerang done because I've been doing it for way too long. So I finally got my boomerang done, and funny story, I wanted to use up as much of the yarn as possible. I hate wasting things. But so I was binding off, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't look like I'm gonna have enough. But I just kept on going, and I had about 20 more stitches left and not enough yarn, so I just grabbed some scraps that I had, and it's really not obvious at all. But
No.
yeah, so I improvised. So this is also not blocked, but this is in a color that I have no idea.
It was gifted to her. She lost the tag.
Yeah.
But it's a fingering weight. Very colorful.
Looks really cool. Ooh.
And it's the stockinette version.
Yeah. And then there's just like a little garter band at the end.
So yeah. So another thing we'll be blocking soon.
Yep. So.
And that was knit on what size needle?
6 US. I don't know what that is in
4mm.
Okay. So that's all I've got done, and that's all I ever had on the needles in the first place. So.
All right. Well, I've got things to show. Ooh, don't mind me jumping onto screen. So the first thing for me is my Paulette, which did not get a whole lot of love because I've got like 7 works in progress. You did beat me. Yes, you did. So I'm using Lady Men Fiber Art Showcase, which is 100% superwash merino. Unfortunately, our showcase base is going to be soonly discontinued. What we have in the shop and what you may find at a show this year is about it. We will not be ordering anymore. We have probably about 70 skeins left undyed, but with bringing in new bases, some need to go. We can only fit so much in our booth and to focus our energies on. So this wasn't our biggest seller fingering weight, but I'm using the colors Pretty Petals and Heliotrope. And I am still... I am still in my striping section, but I think I only have like 2 more to go, so.
That's really pretty.
Now mine is on a size 5, which is the 3.75mm needles. So yeah. If Mom wore shawls, I think she'd like this.
She doesn't wear anything. Just like I mean, I've been knitting this boomerang for a long time. And every time she saw me with it, she's like, oh, that's so pretty. It's such pretty colors. Yesterday when I got it done, I was like, you want this? She's like, no. Okay.
So that's still going. And then I gave a little bit more love to my Adventurer wrap by Amber O'Brien. This was her Advent knit along. And didn't stay on top of that. But I am in my certain amount of color. I just added a new one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I added my 8th color. So technically, if this was December 8th, I would be on track. But
speaking of Amber O'Brien, we geeked out a little bit because she liked one of your pictures.
it's a true story.
We're fangirls. Well, we're fan people.
We're fan knitters. So this was the color set that I put together last minute. That was not an advent calendar, but I will continue to do that. I really love the progression of colors. I do feel like I wish there was more of a differentiation between these two, but there are 2 different colors there.
I'm living for the one you're knitting and that one.
Yeah, so that's that for right now. Amanda's going to be starting the scarf version of this with my leftovers because there is enough with 20 grams of each color to do the wrap and the scarf, at least according to her measurements. So that's going, and that's being knit on a size 5 US 3.75mm needle. Everything is on a size 5.
I bought a new size 5, so I've got it.
I had to break out one of my least favorite size 5s. Interchangeable, and now I'm like, I need to buy a new interchangeable set when we go to knitting, or just like another size 5, but or nothing, because I did find a size 5 that I've got something on that. Okay, she's laughing at me because I'm hiking up my sweatpants. You can't really see it because it's warm. I'm a little warm, but and I threw on the hoodie so that 1, support Ravelry, but 2, I didn't want to just be in like an old raggedy t-shirt.
But like, you ever see those shirts that or swimsuits you put on and it's like a hairy body. It's like when he pulls up his pants, it's like a hairy leg. Love you.
I got hairy legs.
You're a man. I mean, you should. But
Yeah. Next up for me is Socks on a Plane by Laura Linneman. Basically, all I did was take the cable panel and throw it on my generic sock recipe, and I'm using Ethereal Fibers Nebula Sock in the Natural History Nudie Run colorway. So it's like that. And then I will be using some Leading Men Fiber Showstopper Intermission in the Sandcastle colorway for heels and toes. And here is where I'm at. So it's got that little cable, 3x3 cable. And I positioned it in a certain amount, and then I will do the opposite, and I will flip the cable for the other sock. And I was debating just doing this down the leg, but I think I am going to do it down to the toe. And I will stop at the toe. So there we go. You can see it's got a little bit of flashing of the yellow on the back. You gotta do socks here soon. She's never done cabling, so she's like, what is this magicalness? What sorcery is this? Alright. But wait, I'm only halfway done. I have been working on The Weekender by Andrea Mowry, and I'm doing this as a shop sample, a booth sample, hopefully to be done by Stitches West in February. And I did get a decent amount of work done on this. I'm using our new non-superwash worsted weight yarn. It's 100% merino. It's called West End, and it's 218 yards, just like our superwash, but this is non-superwash. I'm loving it. So I am alternating skeins, and I'm probably about over 2 full skeins into it. And you actually knit this inside out because it is a reverse stockinette stitch sweater. But for most of us, knitting is faster than purling, and your gauge is better. So you actually knit it inside out. So this is what it looks like so far. And it has a split hem. Don't mind my ends that need to be woven in. So you can see there. And the back is about 1 inch longer than the front. And what's interesting is I'm having to bring the yarn forward to alternate, and I really think I'm going to do this from now on, even on other sweaters that actually, because this is the inside of the sweater. This is where I need to alternate skeins. And when you do it on, when you just carry yarn up the inside, usually you get like a kind of a ladder up the side, and that's actually what it's supposed to be. This just adds like another little twist to it, and you barely can tell. And you can't see anything from this side, really. Other than some messy stitches, and where I did do a magic knot, and I was like, I should have done a knotted magic knot. So let me show you if I flip it inside out, and then I'm going to like hate myself when I go back to work on this because everything's going to be twisted up. But yeah, it's all reverse stockinette. And then it's got this slip stitch up the front and back. So very simple, boxy, major positive ease on this. And this is actually going to be for Amanda.
When you first showed me that, I thought that was the sides.
Yeah, no, it's got it up the front and back. And it'll have a little detail on the sleeves and shoulders, I think. So this is our new colorway for December, called Bent Neck Lady, inspired by The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. And I'm really loving how it's turning out. I hope you like it. And for being non-superwash, it is still soft. It's a merino.
It is.
So it's still soft. Is it as soft as the box office? No. Will it take colors differently? Yes, as we're dyeing up more of the non-superwash to prep for next show season. If you are looking for the non-superwash bases, to start off, we will offer them beginning on January 1st as its own listing. So you can go in and order as much as you want of the worsted or the fingering, but in the notes you must tell us how many or what color you want. So it's going to be a go in and order what you want, and we will dye it for you. It'll be 2 dyed. Eventually, as we start working through show seasons and we have spare skeins that come back, we will have some in the shop. But for right now, it'll be kind of like custom order your own sweater lot. So that's The Weekender by Andrea Mowry, putting a decent amount of work into that. And that's being knit on a size 7 through 9, which is a 4.5 through 5.5 millimeter needle. All right, next up is my Stripe Study by Vera Valimaki, and this is kind of my go to knitting, and we did go to knitting the past 2 weeks, I think. I'm using some Hedgehog Fibers sock in the crystal colorway, along with some Yarnies of Texas 70/30 merino silk in the Austin City Limits, which you can't see. It looks like a denim blue. Oh, there you go. Can you see all those pops of rainbow speckles in there? Loving the Austin City Limits. And I'm really liking how it's...
It almost has like a sheen on it.
Mm-hmm. Like an iridescence. So this is really easy to work on when it's not all tangled up. I'm trying to figure out... Oh, there's the right side. It's like, what's... So you do some short rows, so one side increases a lot more than the other side. It is very asymmetrical. But it's hard to see on this short of a cable needle. Yeah.
It's not.
So there's the one side. You can see the stripes growing with short rows. And then this is the other side.
Oh, that kind of worked.
There's the other side. So, but I'm liking these together. It's a pop of color without being... It still looks like a neutral. Yeah. Actually, I think this would work with you with some black or something. You know what I mean? You're like, it's not too much. So, but this is a really easy knit, and I know why people have been... It's been very popular over the last... It's an older pattern, but very popular, so... Don't have to carry the pattern really around with you once you figure out what's going on. And that's being knit on a size 6 US, 4 millimeter. Then on Christmas Eve, I did my Christmas Eve cast on, which was decided as a knit along between myself and 3 other gentlemen that I had the pleasure of hanging out with at Stitches SoCal. And I know one of them is cast on. I haven't heard from the other 2. So, but we kind of decided on Christmas Eve we thought it'd be a good time. And so I did. I cast on, and I've worked on it the last 2 nights. And that is somewhere... Oh, it doesn't really have a project bag. And that is the Make Your Own Luck shawl by Lisa Ross, who is Paper Daisy Creations. And it looks like this. And I picked this pattern up at the Black Cat Fibers booth at Stitches SoCal. And I picked up one of the Black Cat Fibers new gradients in their Nomad sock. And this is the Melancholia gradient. And there are 3 mini skeins not in this. It comes with 10 mini skeins. There's a red one I'm working on, then like a magenta, and then there was a purple. And I'm enjoying working on this one too. My contrast color is Leading Mind Fiber Arts Showstopper in the Darkest Hour, so you need like a set of 10 minis. You do not need of all the minis, all the yardage, but some of them you will. And then you need 1 coordinating skein. So I saw Antoinette, one of the Black Cat ladies, knitting this at Stitches SoCal, and she finished this pattern out of this set with their own black yarn. And I was like, I gotta do that. And I know my friend Rafa bought the same set to do the same color. So right now it looks like a banana hammock. But so it starts here with some striping. You can see the first color, and then you go into some eyelet lace here with the second, and then I just put in a row of the third color after doing that. So but anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a find your fade shape. So you're increasing on the outside and then you're decreasing. You're doing a center decrease here, and you'll increase to a certain point, and then eventually it'll just stay the same number of stitches. And that's knit on a size 5, 3.75 millimeter needle, because I had to find a needle for that. Okay, last but not least, I remembered to bring it up to show you because I've not worked on it in 2 weeks because I forgot it last episode. I finished another row on my granny square blanket. I'm doing this 15 squares across, and I finished the 4th row. So I have 60 squares on here now. And so eventually it's going to be 20 rows high, so it'll have 15 times 20, whatever that is, 300 squares. So, and I'm just randomly, I have a big basket of ones I haven't used, and I hand Andy the basket, and he randomly pulls in and grabs one out. And I'm doing 5 round granny squares here. And I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Soliloquy, which is our 100% Superwash BFL, I'm joining as I go. And so there's the other end there. And yeah. That is some hedgehog. So, and of course things look different knit than they do crocheted, but she's looking at that one there. So totally loving this, and I love, it's going to be like the world's most expensive blanket because I go around and trade and buy minis at shows. That way I'm not buying full skeins, and I get to try out people's yarn, get to know people, but loving it. It's a lot of fun. So I just have to find more time. So that's all that I'm working on, believe it or not. What you working on? What's in, what's performing for you?
Nada. I just finished something yesterday.
And you didn't cast something out immediately?
No, I wanted to cross stitch. I have goals. I'm going to stick to being monogamous from now on. Because look what happened when I wasn't monogamous. That boomerang took me like 6 months. So.
Preach into the choir. Alright, so, turning the page. What's in rehearsal? What are you going to cast on? Because I'm not casting on anything.
Oh my god, finally.
Watch you come back and I'll have 3 more things on the end.
Well, I don't know. I don't know when. I should say I don't know when, but I believe my next project will be the Adventurer Scarf. The version, his, wrap, is going to be the same thing, but a scarf.
Or she could cast on for her boxy.
No. I'm too scared.
She won a whole sweaters lot of Malabrigo, I think. Yeah. At Super Summer Knit Together this summer for the boxy, and she is like,
I want it, but
it's all one stitch. One stitch at a time.
But it's a sweater. So, yeah.
Alright, let's move into behind the scenes. My spinning, I don't have anything to show you because I'm still working on the first 2 ounces. Well, I guess I can show you the fiber. This is the second 2 ounces of some Daisy Knits Superwash Merino Bamboo Nylon. And it didn't have a colorway name, but I call it Roses and Mustard. So I'm going to 2-ply that. And so that's what I'm working on is spinning. In the scene shop are other crafts. I am cross-stitching. I'm working on my Dimensions kit. I am still plugging along, but I'm working on that word live. It's got some progress to it. So there's that. It's funny how the things that I only do at home get more work done when I'm not traveling as much.
Yours is so much more messy than mine in the back.
I don't care. I'll show you my back. I don't care. I carry threads all over, do what I need to do. I get knots, and then I just cross stitch over them, and then sometimes I cut the knots out. Okay. No one's going to see the back. And then my weaving, I'm still working on my awesome lace weight scarf out of Leading Men Fiber Arts Ghostlight, which is the other base that is going to be discontinued. So I don't really want to tell you that it's going to be discontinued because I want to hoard it all for weaving. But the lace weight that is in the shop and that will be going into the shop, we have a little bit left to dye, but I mean like less than 20 skeins. Get it while you can. Neither of those bases are discounted currently. We're not worried about it, trying to push the inventory out yet. But Ghostlight or Lace Weight is going to be discontinued. Again, we just have to think about what we're traveling so much, what's going to be worth the time and the gas mileage and the energy to set up and tear down, and what's going to sell. So, but I do love weaving with it. So, I don't know. But yeah, I'm doing a simple weave with that, but I'm close to being done. I have a little ball left to use for the...
That seems like it'll last you a while, though.
You'd be surprised.
But it's lace.
Yeah, but it's probably only got 1 or 2 more sets on the shuttle to fill up the shuttle.
Oh.
So there's that. That's all that I'm working on in the land of other crafts.
Well, I'm working on my Artiste Colorful Cow, and I forgot to bring it. But I did just post a picture yesterday on my Instagram, so you can check there.
She did, with her cross-stitching stand.
Yeah.
So, in the spotlight, what are we watching and reading? I'm going to quickly go through what we've been watching, because it's been a lot. Andy and I, we haven't been traveling as much. We've been trying to spend more time together in the evenings and what have you. So, we're watching Nailed It on Netflix. It is okay. It is, I really like the host. She's funny. But it is just setting people up for failure, which is kind of like, meh. So we're watching that while we have dinner at night. We finished season 1 of Lore and enjoyed it. It's a nice short episodes that you don't have to, they're single episodes, so you don't have to follow a storyline, because Andy gets tired of binge watching things. So sometimes we have to split up what we're watching. But basically it has like 22-minute episodes covering a certain topic. So the last one was about dolls and how we can give dolls... We think some people think they're creepy and they have personalities. And then it talked about Robert the doll, which...
yes, I know about
Okay, so... we had seen it at like a Mysteries at the Museum episode too, but it was interesting. So it went into their backstory, and they have reenactments of, what happened and whatnot. We're still watching The Handmaid's Tale, enjoying that, really enjoying that. But again, Andy is like, it's so much drama, I can only binge. It's like I can't watch it every night. We started watching Shameless, which everyone we know is raved about. And we're like, and so we watched it. We did not realize there are 8 seasons out. But it's pretty good. The only thing I don't like is the lead actress, I know her from the Phantom of the Opera movie. She was the lead actress in that. But she's the daughter in this, the eldest daughter. She does like this Eastern accent, like New York kind of sometimes. And I'm like, you're from Chicago.
Supposed to be.
From the south side of Chicago. That being said, what's his name? William H. Macy? Does a really good job. I hate his character, but he does a really good job. Watching a few episodes of How to Get Away with Murder, season 4. This series has kind of had a shift. They're different scenery, different setting, different mindsets, so...
I quit that after season 2.
And then we, Mandy and Andy and I watched the movies. Amanda and I sat down on the first day it came out last Friday before going to bingo, and we watched Bird Box, which is a Netflix original movie that came out on Friday, starring Sandra Bullock. It also has...
Colson Baker! A.K.A. Machine Gun Kelly. Sorry, I have to support him.
It has... What's his name?
There's quite a few people that I didn't realize that were in there that are recognizable.
The old dude. And he got an honorary degree from ISU.
No, stop, because his name just escaped me, but I love him.
It's not Gary Sinise.
No,
Gary Sinise
it's
starred
John
with him.
Malkovich.
There you go.
Sorry, I love him, and his name just like...
John Malkovich, and he is weird. I have seen him in real life.
him.
He came to ISU, Illinois State, my alma mater, and he talked to the theater school, and he was very interesting, but quite eccentric.
His character in Con Air... I don't know.
Nicolas Cage.
I love Nicolas Cage, so bye-bye. But John Malkovich and Con Air.
That's why I wonder if we're really related. But anyway, I would give Bird Box 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed the premise. I did feel like it got a bit, existential and wrapped up too nicely at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good movie, but it's not like the greatest movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Right.
But it's worth a watch, I think.
Andy and I watched Wonder, which stars Julia Roberts, Owen Wilson. It's about them having a deformed child going off to public school for the first time. And he's had like 27 surgeries in order to, fix his hearing, his face, a bunch of things. And it was a very endearing, heartwarming story. And I believe it was based off of a book as well, so it was Bird Box. I'd give that 4 out of 5 stars as well.
Jacob Tremblay is the cutest, best child actor. Oh my gosh, he's in so much. He's the one, you probably don't remember, he's the one in Wonder, but he looks different, but he's been in a lot. He's such a good.
Andy and I watched last night Gold, which stars, who did I say?
All right.
Macaulay Culkin.
Matthew McConaughey.
I was like, it's got an M in it. Could you imagine if Macaulay Culkin was in that scene?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Oh, no, that'd be creepy. Matthew McConaughey's in it. I feel like I didn't hear about this movie at all. Andy had added it. It's on Netflix to the Netflix queue, and he was like, all right, let's watch it. And I was like, whatever, I'm knitting.
It's a few years old, I think.
It was okay. I'd probably give it 4.5 stars. While I didn't really care for the storyline, I thought he did a really nice job. I know he can look really good, and he did not look good in this movie, so I was like, not that I look good, but he was like bald and fat, so it looked like me, and I was like, but like 80s bald and fat, so he looked like my dad, and I was like... But basically it's about Macaulay Culkin... It's about Macaulay Culkin, that's what the movie's about. But Matthew McConaughey plays him. Matthew McConaughey is a... prospector, so he works for a mining company, and basically they go out and they find dig sites and coordinate all that. And from what I can gather, he kind of gets down on his luck, loses his job, and then he goes out on one last limb in order to strike it rich, and he goes out to Indonesia and with a guy that he had met previously in the trade, and they are trying their hardest to find gold, and he gets malaria while out there, and after several weeks of being sick, he recovers, and his colleague says, we've struck gold. And they come back to the U.S., and they pretty much they blow up, they get on the stock market, there's this, that, it becomes, and I guess, I don't know if it's a true story, I'm assuming it probably is. But basically the stock market just took off, and there was all these trade deals and all this stuff, and like $17 billion worth of investment money, and then it turned out that everything was a lie, and he was being duped by his colleague who ran away with basically $164 million, and he knew nothing about it, and everybody lost their money. So it was an interesting movie.
So now you don't have to watch the movie.
If it's based on truth, then and you're from the 80s, the late 80s, 88.
I thought it was about Macaulay Culkin.
No.
Okay.
But, so yeah, that's what I've been watching. What have you been watching?
I watched a few other movies, but
These are the ones that stick out.
yeah, because I watched a movie yesterday with Matthew McConaughey too. But I
Not
don't
Macaulay Culkin?
No, but I don't even remember the name. That's how much it didn't stick out. Anyway, so movie. I sat down with our mom the other day, and she really wanted to watch this movie called Dumplin'. It's on Netflix. With Jennifer Aniston is the mom. The main character, she's a teenager in high school. I don't recognize her. I think this might be her first movie, so I don't remember her name, but it's essentially about Jennifer Aniston is a like ex beauty queen. Like she was a beauty queen for many years, and she's still like super big into it. She is the coordinator, whatnot. So that's been her life, and the main character, Dumplin', is kind of raised by her aunt, and she identifies more with her rather than her mom. And then her aunt dies, yada yada yada, and Dumplin', I'm sorry, I can't remember her real name in the movie, so I'm just gonna call her Dumplin', even though she does not like to be called Dumplin', by the way. But she ends up, what's the word? Basically going into the beauty pageant, at first kind of to spite her mom. And she learns all this stuff. And she learns stuff about her aunt who's passed, and she learns stuff about her mom, and blah, blah, blah. It was super cute, and I cried a little bit. But it's really about body positivity, and not just that, but also being okay with being different, and other people accepting that and stuff. And it wasn't, I was afraid it was going to be super cliche and super typical, and it wasn't whatsoever. It was really good, really well acted. So yeah, I give that, we do it in the 5-star system. I give that 5 stars. Definitely take a watch if you have Netflix. If not, I don't know if you can, I'm pretty sure it's a Netflix original, so.
Maybe we'll watch that tonight. I know Andy's been wanting to watch it.
Yeah, it's really good. And then there's a series that I totally binged because I'm in love. So he can vouch for me that I'm kind of into magicians. Like when I was younger, I was obsessed with Chris Angel.
True story.
Yeah. So there is this new show on Netflix called Death by Magic, and I believe there's 8 episodes.
Is this one that they're like, The Craft meets Pretty Little Liars? Okay. I keep seeing a commercial and they're like,
I've never
The
heard.
Craft meets Pretty Little Liars.
Oh no, that's like a show. This is a magician.
Okay.
Like he does real stunts and whatnot. So his name is Drummond Money Coots. He's from a super wealthy family in Britain, like London. They own a crap ton of banks, and I guess over there it's almost like royalty or whatever. And he kind of defied his family, and because he didn't like banking and whatnot, so he went and became a magician. He went to India and all this yada yada yada. Anyway, this show has amazing magic, a British accent, a man with a beard. It's great. But anyway, he basically, each episode focuses on a different magician that ended up dying while trying to perform a stunt, and he kind of recreates it. But it also has really great storytelling in it, and it's almost like you get a little piece of history and a lot of fun magic in it, and I don't know, it's really good. I think you should take a gander and watch that if you
That's
so
on
choose.
Netflix?
Yes, that's called Death by Magic. It's really good.
Ooh. Okay. So let's move on to stash enhancement. When I wrote these show notes out on New Christmas Eve, I did not have any stash enhancement, and I was fairly proud of that. I now have 3 things to show you, thanks to my significant other. Because when all else fails... So, I told him yesterday, I said, I think this is what you enjoy. So, he goes secretly shopping for me at all these events throughout the year, and then he hides them. And he'll just randomly give me gifts throughout the year, and he goes, well, it's my way of telling you no that you can't go shopping, but then I can kind of curb it so you still get things, but then, and I like that he's shopping for me for the most part. But yeah, so he had a couple of things still left in his cache of secret gifts, and so he gave me those for Christmas. So yesterday, while at our family's, there was 2 skeins in a bag, and the first is from Artfully Wrapped, and I can't remember her name, but I've known her for several years. We met her at the first Fall Fiber Expo in Ann Arbor that we ever did, and she does beautiful shawl pins, but she also does gradient yarns. Now this is not, to me, this is not one of the best examples of her gradients because it is very, very subtle. You can almost barely
Go closer.
see that there's
Yeah.
you can almost barely see that there's any gradient in there because it is very subtle. That's why I was like, Andy, is this a gradient? Because I would have.
I can see it.
She does a lot of beautiful lace knitting shawls, and she sells her shawls with her shawl pins and stuff if people want hand knits. But she wanted to create her own gradient yarn, so she does that as well. But this is her 75% superwash merino, 25% mulberry silk, 437 yards. Does not have a colorway name. So, it's a cool, like, aqua. So, there's that. And then he picked up a fun skein of DK weight tweed Highlands DK from Yakagani Yarns. And this is in the blueberry color. It is 85% superwash merino, 15% nep, 230 yards. And the 15% nep are those tweedy bits. So we make a cool hat or cowl or something. Probably a hat, I think.
How do they do that?
It's spun in when they apply it. So I'm sorry, guys. Oh, and then I got home yesterday, and there was one last gift that he custom dyed, and he called it Christmas 2018. Merry Christmas 2018.
I'm gonna cry.
And
that's so cute.
he tried to do a Steve and Andy 2.0. So we have our Steve and Andy colorway, which is our 2 favorite colors, a very bright orange and a very rich teal. And we have our Steve and Andy colorway, but he tried to do a different reiteration of it. He said he wasn't completely happy with it, but so, and this is on a, I don't know if it's the same base. So we got sent this as a sample from our supplier, and we believe it's their silk sock base, which may be the same ish. I don't know, I think the twist is different. But it's like a silk merino base. And I was like, oh, I could put these together, but I don't think these will. But so it's got the orange and the greens together.
He should have said that he completely meant to do that, and he should do it every year.
He meant to do it.
Well, no, I meant like as a gift, like it says Merry Christmas 2018. He should.
No, he meant to.
Oh, is he gonna
do
that
it as a
every year?
Christmas, like as a one-off color for me, because we had this skein sitting around for like 2 years, and so he's like, I'm just gonna dye it up and I'm gonna make him his own color. So.
I think you need to tell a story of what he said, what he was going to do with yarn in your Ravelry as a gift, because that's genius.
So he said what he really wanted to do was go and pick 2 things out of my Ravelry stash page and then find them, or like take them out of my room and then take them out of my Ravelry stash page. So so he would think that I wouldn't know that I have it, but I.
No, you wouldn't. If he dug deep enough, because when we went through those bins, you had no idea what was in there.
I think you'd be surprised. Excuse me.
Because you might be like, this looks familiar. I think I had a skein of that. And then you look and you're like, oh, never mind. No, I don't.
Because maybe I used it. I don't know. Yeah, so that's it for stash enhancement for me.
I got something as a Christmas gift, and it's super overwhelming.
So while we were at Stitches SoCal, Andy's like, you should go get a gift for Amanda. And since I was like itching to spend some money, and he's like, here's some money, go get Mandy a gift. And I got her a bag from Knitpicks that she really likes.
Yeah.
But I also got her this because I've secretly always wanted to make it, but I don't really want to make it. But I think it's really cool what you could do with a limited amount of colors, and so I got it for her.
Well,
Going, hey, here you go.
now I gotta make my first blanket. So this is the Knitpicks Hue Shift Afghan. It looks, oh, there we go. Yeah.
That's
All
all
the
done with
colors.
all those. That's just those colors that does all that. So it's all with striping different colors to get the different effects.
Needle size? 5.
Well, you want it dense enough that it doesn't
No,
like
but
disintegrate.
It's a theme. We got a bunch of size 5s
Fives,
going
yeah,
on right now.
It's true. So she may be casting on for that. She doesn't have to ball up her yarn. It's already balled up. And you could do like one square and then get, you know what I mean?
Well, what I was thinking with this, so it's not so overwhelming for me, I will stop my monogamy, and I will have it as a kind of how when you knit blankets, it's kind of a project for when you're sitting on the couch kind of thing, and that's when you do it. I won't like take it around with me everywhere, so
Well, and you'll knit one of the squares and see how long it takes you, but maybe it's like a palette cleanser in between projects. You know, who cares if the blanket takes you 5-10 years to knit it if you just do a square and then, oh, I'm going to knit a shawl now. Okay, and then I should do another square. So,
things like it.
you just need to make sure you read the pattern before you start so that you know. I don't think you stack all your squares because then it's like, where do they go and how do they go?
Yeah.
So, all right. So there's that, and then we have a giveaway this episode. We are giving away a book, Alternates by Leah Radford, Imaginative Products and Creativity Exercises, and it's got a creativity notebook included in it.
That's so cute.
In the front, that comes with it, so you can, you know, sketch and get ideas. Some things are a little dated, some things are not, some things are a little more timeless, but yeah. So
there's a really cute picture of a baby on the back.
Ooh, there's a cool
what is
thing on.
knitted in that?
It's not.
Oh.
They're paper lanterns, but I think.
Oh,
But you actually make them with yarn.
that's cool. Okay, someone make those for me. Whoever wins.
So it's using Habu Textiles. I don't even know if they make this anymore. So Show Senshi paper, which is a linen yarn, and then paper Murari, which is a linen nylon yarn. Interesting. There's some felted things in here. But you know it's a little dated when it's like a felted, what did they... Felted PDA cases.
I was like, wait, what? PDA?
Public displays of affection. Oh, yeah, so it's a little dated, but it's still a good resource to have. This is copyright 2005, so 13 years, almost 14 years. But to be entered to win your copy of this copy of Alternates, you need to go on over to our Ravelry group. The thread is already posted. You must be a member of the Ravelry group, Dramatic Knits Video Podcast Group, and answer the prompt. This episode's prompt is back to our conversation starters, and only one post per person, please. And the question this week is, what is something that you've never done but would like to try? So you can take that as crafting. You could take that as something daredevilish. You could take that as cooking. You could take that as whatever. So something that jumped into my head crafting wise when I wrote out this question was I'd really like to give like rug hooking or punch needling a try, but I'd like to sit down in a formal setting and have someone kind of help.
I've watched punch needle stuff on Instagram, The very first thing that popped into my head was bungee jumping. I've wanted to do that forever.
So anyway, head on over to the group, enter to win that. And let's move into a round of applause. Last episode, we were giving away this beautiful skein of Rebel Pearl yarn that was generously donated by Mary, who is the owner of Rebel Pearl. She is out of Bloomington, Indiana, and is a newer yarn dyer. And this is in her 4 plies of the Apocalypse base, and it is in the color more of a retro pastiche. And you needed to go over to her shop to enter and tell me which is your favorite item. And the winner was number 62, who is Dingle Daisy, and that's Eloise from Mississippi. She is part of Laura Linneman, Lala's knit group in Mississippi, who Laura is one of the knit girls and one of our teachers for the Knitting at the O State Retreat. But congratulations, Eloise. You won this skein, and she said she liked the Lady A colorway. Well, hopefully you pick up the skein of Lady A, and maybe this will go with it. If not, go get the Lady A and enjoy this skein as well. So, Eloise, if you would please direct message me, Dramatic Knits, and let me know your first and last name and mailing address. Actually, you know what, Eloise? Would you please email Dramatic Mandy on Ravelry and give her your mailing information? First and last name, mailing address, and if you want tracking, we need your email address. And Amanda will ship it out to you. That way you don't have to go through find it in my inbox. Okay? Thank you, Eloise. And thank you to everyone who entered. We do want to remind you to enter all your finished objects into the December 2018 Race to the Finished Object contest. We will have a wonderful prize that we will pull for next recording, as well as a pattern from our featured designer, who is Susie White, also known as Prairie Girl Designs. So, yeah, anything you finish this month, you can post a picture over in that thread, and that'll get you an entry for some awesome prizes. All right, take a quick drink. Ooh. I do want to show you some awesome new things that were sent for us to review by Acreworks. And Aiden and his team over there, it's his whole family team as well as other people. We were contacted by one of his coworkers asking if we'd be interested in reviewing. And I want to get your guys' ideas on this too. So if you would leave some comments on YouTube on what you think of these products, so that I can share with Aiden and his team. These are some new products coming out through the Acreworks line. If you are unfamiliar with Acreworks, they do a lot of 3D printing for crafters and coming up with ingenious tools and modifications to tools that you didn't know you need, or that will take a tool one step further. So I think Aiden really burst onto the scene by creating 3D printed bobbins for spinning wheels, which I have for my Ashford Kiwi. I also have them for my Hanson's mini spinner. But they have branched out into so many other things. And so these are some new tools and kits that they have come out with this season. And I really want to know what you guys think of them, because I have a feeling that they will wholesale, and I'm interested in possibly carrying some of these items in our shop as well. So they sent us a few things to review. And so the first thing, I had seen these at SSK this summer. These are their maker quotes, which are magnets as well as display boards, and these are laser cut on wood. And they have several different sayings or hashtags or quotes from crafters. And this one is from Elizabeth Zimmerman. And she's going to pop the packing popcorn on air.
Being bubble wrap?
Whatever.
It's fun.
So this quote is "Knit on with confidence and hope through all crises." Or Crises by Elizabeth Zimmerman, and it does say on the back that it is used with permission from Schoolhouse Press, who is the daughter, the owner of Schoolhouse Press is the daughter of Elizabeth Zimmerman. So it's got a magnet on the back as well as this clip, so you can set it down, and not that my hand's the best place, but you can put it on your desk or on your keyboard, and I thought that was really cool. So it's just fun. They have like hashtag maker's gonna make, hashtag knitter's gonna knit, tons of other quotes and things to live by. So I thought that was really neat. And then this I thought was really cool, and this was something I would consider carrying in our booth. This is the knitting toolkit, and I love almost everything about this. There is one thing I wish they would add to it, and I will talk about that here in a minute. But it comes in this beautiful wrapped kit, and you open up the box, and it's wrapped very nicely.
This is becoming an unboxing.
And this is the toolkit. Now, there's been other things like this on the market, which, you know, I literally like this. So this is all made out of rubber. And what you have here on the edges, you have a needle sizer. So if you don't know what size your needles are, you can just place them in the grooves, and the groove that it first fits on, if you start with the smallest, that's going to be the needle size it is. Then on the top here, this plastic piece, this is a gauge swatch measurer. So it's got these grooves, so it goes into your knitting, and you just lay it over your knitted swatch, and then you can measure according to an inch how many stitches and by row and stitch count you have. Now, I had gotten one of these several years ago when they first came out with these at Super Summer Knit Together, and it's really, really helpful if you're measuring your gauge, which I don't do often enough. Then you have some awesome tools inside here. You have a tape measure, which actually will pop out. You can pop out through the front, or I think this one just slides out the back. Yeah. So there's a tape measure. There's a pair of scissors from Clem Scott Designs. Now, my one thing that I'm going to say does not fit male hands very friendly. I do not feel like Clem Scott Designs scissors do fit male hands very well. That's my one negative so far. There are some light bulb stitch markers and 2 darning needles. And you're going, Steve, how are those hanging in there? How are they not falling out? They've thought of that. There are 3 magnets inside the back of each of these so that they're magnetized into those spots. So, that being said, I think this is really, really awesome. I really like this. My only concern is 1, the finger holes on the scissors, and 2, I wish there was a row counter on here somehow. Whether that be a separate add-on, whether that be on one of the edges, I don't know how, but I wish there was a row counter, because then it would have everything that I needed. So, what do you guys think of the toolkit? What do you think of it?
I think it's cool. I don't really use any of that stuff right now.
You don't use stitch markers?
Well, I do.
Or a darning needle?
I think it's cool to have everything in one place.
Yeah, what's nice is, like, for me, I can throw this in my messenger bag.
Yeah.
And I know I just need to look for this and it'll have what I need.
And it's definitely helpful, I feel like, for people like you that have a crap ton of projects going on at one time, because even if you had a couple of these, it's like, oh, just throw one in each like bag or whatever, whereas me, and I'm just I've got one thing, but yeah.
I did look on their website. I believe these retail for $34 or $38. I'm not sure, but I don't think that's a bad deal. I think it's a really neat idea, and I love how they've compacted everything and thought of the magnets and everything. So
I think the gauge thing is cool, but I've never done that before.
See, but she would if she knit their sweater or something that she needed gauge.
That's why I'm nervous.
So, and they have little warnings in here, like about the magnets and things like that, because people with pacemakers and stuff like that, you know, they're trying to be safe. And I'm not going to try to do this on camera because I've tried putting that on 3 times and it's not as easy as it looks. Excuse me. This last thing is 2 tools in one. I'm sorry. 2 separate tools that can be used together. So, I don't want to misspeak. Can you hand me that piece of paper at the bottom?
Which one? Oh, the big one?
Yeah. I didn't take all this. So this first part is a yarn caddy, and it says the Acreworks Flat Pack Yarn Caddy is a new way to feed your yarn to your knitting project. Combined with our Acre Kate, Simple Kate, Butterfly Kate, or any other lazy Kate with a 1/4 inch shaft, it allows people simple and effective control of your yarn. So it has this, and it's like they know me because they put in green. So this is like a 3D, this is their 3D printed spindle. And then, can I get this out? I need to get the shaft out. Ooh. I just popped off there. It's a little phallic too. Alright, oh my gosh, it won't stay in my lap. Help me out here. Okay. So, you have your shaft. It goes in. Like
Why are you talking like you're from Minnesota?
You got your shaft. No, that's bad. This is a tensioner, but I think this goes on the other piece.
Okay, hand it to
No,
me.
this is an extra tensioner going somewhere.
Okay.
But basically, you can, this holds, you can put a ball of yarn on here. And the yarn cake sits on the base, which will then go on to this Kate here, this butterfly Kate, which is really cool. I believe that little piece is a tensioner. And this is what's really cool. So this is a piece of fancy wood. They have 2 different wood options. And it folds out like this. Because it butterflies out. And then you take this little piece out. And this is all 3D printed, the black part. And so because this locks it in place. And then you can lift this up to 2 different levels. And like here. And you can lock it in, or a little bit lower. And now this can be used, this is a Kate, so you can ply off of this. You can put one of their bobbins on here, and it's got this tensioner on here, so you can put the bobbin on there and then keep it down so it doesn't fly off with this. But you can also put this, it's got little rubber stoppers on the end there, and it'll stay on the table. And what you can do, if I can get this off here, there we go, is then you take this yarn caddy with your yarn ball on it, and you put it on there. Did I do that right? I didn't really test this out too much. I haven't tried it out yet. And then you put it down so it, and then it'll turn, and you can take it a little bit higher so it doesn't. And then you can feed your yarn off of there and put it on the table, and it's almost like a yarn bowl. And then your yarn is not rolling all over the ground, but this has to obviously be done with a cake. Yarn bowl is good for hand-wound yarn balls. Balls, cakes, shafts, it's just... But I thought this was really cool, so I'm excited to try this out. I might actually have Amanda try this out with something, because I feel like she would go around using this because she's more monogamous, whereas I switch out my projects a lot more. But, yeah. So, I thought that was cool. And then it all flat packs down, which is really nice. So, there's that. Goes there. This. You put this back on. And then...
Could I just
you
use this?
unlock this.
Is that a possibility?
I don't think you have no base to put it on. It's just going to fall over. So, and then this is your base. And then you slide it back down and it fits perfectly between the wood, which then you have that. And they give you this nice, specifically made muslin bag, which goes in here. And then you can flat pack that. That's just got like bearings in it. Comes out, and you can put it back in this muslin bag, which is specifically sewn to hold the pieces, les pieces. And there you go. You're on the go. Ready to go. On the go with your knitting. So thank you so much to Aiden and Acreworks. Don't mind our quick, easy showing you the new products, unboxing, and review. I'll definitely be talking more about them as I use them, but I want to know your guys' ideas. The Yarn Caddy with the Lazy Kate, with the Butterfly Kate combo, I believe is $74 or $78. But I thought that was a really cool, it takes a lot of time and engineering, which is Aiden's background, to conceptualize all that. So thank you so much, Acreworks. I can't wait to see what else you have in store. And yeah, they were very generous enough to send that for review.
I'm sorry, but if bubble wrap is around, you gotta pop it.
And a locket. Pop it and lock it.
You're not cool anymore. Sorry. Neither am I. I'm not in with the new lingo either.
All right, so let's move into center stage. All things leading men fiber arts, because I can't tell. Oh my gosh, we've been going for almost an hour and a half. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, so as I said, non-superwash is coming in the beginning of 2019. You will start seeing it at all of our shows next year. We will have a whole wall or two of each base, depending on the show, with sweater quantities of colorways on our non-superwash fingering, which is our Broadway base, and our non-superwash worsted, which is West End. It will be available by custom order on the website. You need to let us know what colorway and order the quantity that you need. January's colorway of the month, we're excited to showcase with you, is going up on January 1st. Amanda's going to be in charge of the launch of all this stuff while we're gone. And our colorway I created this month is called Koi Pond, and it looks like this. So this is one of our massage speckled colorways, and
Doesn't help.
It has a bright fluorescent orange, kind of a indigo blue, and a pink. And of course, because it's massaged after it's speckled, it kind of mutes them and dulls them out and creates other shades where the speckles mix. And so that was on our DK weight base. This is the swatch knit up flat on our worsted weight. So I thought this was really pretty. I thought it was like something we haven't had before. So I called this Koi Pond. It reminded me of like the blue with the water and the orange fish. And so we will have pre-orders up for that on January 1st. You can order it on any base. If you want the non-superwash base of this, like say you wanted a sweater's worth, you will need to order that via the non-superwash listing, not the pre-order listing. I know it's confusing, but... The other thing we're going to start offering in 2019, besides the normal pre-order listing, is we're also going to have sock set listings. So we will offer two versions. We will offer a shorty sock set and then a normal classic sock set. Both will come with a coordinating mini skein. So for instance, this month I've paired up our Orangey Jealous colorway, which is not the same orange, but I feel like kind of matures it. Which looks a little red on there on screen, but I thought it was a really nice pop of color. And so the shorty sock set will come with an intermission skein, which is 50 grams of our showstopper base, along with the 20 gram mini. So you get 70 grams, and for some people that's plenty enough to do socks. And I would say this is enough to do a heel and toe. Cuff, you're going to be cutting it close. So the shorty sock set comes with 50 gram main color and a 20 gram contrasting color. The classic sock set will come with a full 100 gram skein of our showstopper as well as a 20 gram mini. So both come with the 20 gram mini contrast. You just choose if you want a half or a full skein. And so that way you don't have to think about a coordinating skein and you automatically get it if you like it that month. It'll be on a pre-order basis just like the other stuff for the first week of the month. So that's our new colorway, Koi Pond, which will go up on January 1st. Also going up on January 1st are our 2018 year in review sets. So This year, we have our mini skein sets as well as our full skein option. Our full skein option comes with 12 full skeins of Showstopper. We're only doing the Showstopper base this year. And if you order the whole full skein option, you will get essentially one skein free. So, I think I did the math in my head. It was going to be like, I don't know, what's 24 times 12? 240, 288? 288 minus 24? 264? So it'll be 264 plus shipping, but essentially you get a skein free. So you save a little bit of money if you didn't order one every month this year and you just want to buy it all in one lump sum. You can do that. That is always an option. That comes with no accoutrement. That is just the 12 skeins. They will be individually wrapped cutely, but there's no added bonus. You get the discount. That's the full skein option. The mini skein option, we have a really cute theme this year, and Mandy just spent like an exorbitant amount of time, which I'm so happy she did because I think the pictures turned out great. She did a kind of photo shoot for the mini skein option. Our theme this year is knitting at the library. So, knitting with a good book. And so, Barb, Tracy, my two knitwear chicks, you want to get in on this one. So this comes with 12 20-gram mini skeins, and we collaborated with two wonderful makers, and you get a little insert about all the makers in your bag. So you have Steve and Andy behind Lady Men Fiber Arts and a little write-up about us. You have Rick from Whimsy Stitches, who did the project bag. And you have Corey Eichelberger of iRock Knits Designs, who designed the pattern. And you have write-ups about their companies there as well. So, you can... Sorry, my nose is itchy. So to come packaged like this, and it has 12 mini skeins, one for each month, and it comes with a little library card, because I had to do this. So it's got a little library card with all of the colorways, and then it's got the due date, which is the month that it came out. So that's like your little key. And then here is the bag. So this is one of Rick's clear view drawstring bags, and they fit all the 12 mini skeins, but it also does, Mandy was taking pictures, it fits 3 to 4 skeins easily in here, surprisingly enough. And it's got a nice handle. This is some custom printed fabric we had ordered from Spoonflower. So it's a little more higher end of a fabric, but it's got the clear vinyl, which I thought was a nice, neat detail, so you can see all your mini skeins in there. And I used one of his bags as a prototype for my boomerang I finished last episode, and I really liked that. So Rick did an amazing job. It's got a smaller, flatter bottom that folds out. It's got this cool kind of mod-colored, very subtle rainbow of library books. And then you get on the back of your little handout card, you get a coupon code for Corey's Knitting at the Library cowl, her first version, which has a variety of textured stitches and is designed for using mini skeins. So I thought it would be a lot of fun that if you got this and you're like, well, what do I do with it? You could pick 5 or 6 of these and knit her Knitting at the Library cowl, which showcases a bunch of different textures. It's a great intro to knitting. So what might be really, really fun in the new year is to get a friend to start knitting with you and to teach them knitting. Split these half and half with them, kind of pick out your colors, and knit the cowl with them. I think would be really cool. So I don't know. I just thought it was a really cute concept this year. I'm really happy with the artists that we collaborated with. So you get the bag, you get the 12 mini skeins, and you get the pattern courtesy of us. And I don't think we've finalized the price yet. It'll be between $100 and $120. We haven't decided yet, but probably closer to the 100, and then plus shipping. So, but that's the year in review. So it's got all 12 skeins in there. And Mandy was glorious and packaged 10 of these for me today, and we've got 89 more to go.
There was one already done. That's why.
She's been winding all 1,200 mini skeins too. Luckily, those are done. There will only be 100 mini skein sets. That's it. Once they're gone, they're sold out. The full skein listing will be up for the entire month of January. So if you want the full skein option, you can order those. We'll just keep replenishing those throughout the month of January. But the mini skein sets, there will be 100 of these, and that's it. Once they're gone, they're gone. So that's that. All right. The Leading Men Fiber Arts Retreat, Knitting at the Estate. Sign-ups will be happening starting January 14th. So if you have not bookmarked or signed up for the Leading Men Fiber Arts newsletter, go to knittingattheestate.com. It has all the information there. The only thing that's going to be added before sign-ups go live is I do plan on having a teachers page where you can go and get a little bit more background information regarding our two teachers, who are Gail Zucker and Laura Linneman. The retreat itself will be hosted September 19th through the 22nd, 2019 in Monticello, Illinois at the Allerton Retreat and Conference Center. And there will be 75 spots. 50 will be housed on-site, 25 will be housed off-site, and you will be responsible for booking your own lodging. So whether that be a hotel or you travel in, that's up to you. We will not be booking that for you. The on-site, there will be about half will be single occupancy, half will be double occupancy. The prices are varied for all three tiers, and all information is up on the website regarding that pricing. So we'll send out a newsletter once signups go live. It will be a lottery to get in, so we will have signups open for 2 weeks. We will then pull for the 75 spots, and then as spots open up from there, we will pull off the wait list. Now, the reason I'm doing it that way rather than just saying you're so-and-so on the wait list is because there are so many options. Say somebody who drops out is on an off-site, but you wanted to be on-site and only on-site. If somebody drops off, I can't automatically replace you. There has to be some wiggle room. Excuse me. So that's Knitting at the Estate. We're super excited. It's kind of been at a lull about planning that, and it's going to pick up here in a little bit. So that's that. And upcoming shows, our next show is Stitches West out in Santa Clara, California. So stay tuned for that, but that's not until mid-February. So we still have some time off. But, yeah, lots of me talking at the end. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We hope you enjoyed our episode. We hope you enjoyed the banter, the chit-chat, the giggles, the side glares, and whatnot. So we will see you in about a week and a half. We will record on the Sunday after I get back from Disney. So if you do not follow us as Leading Men Fiber Arts on Instagram, I will be posting to our stories throughout our vacation. So if you care to see my reaction to Walt Disney World and some family adventures, feel free to follow us over there. And make sure to follow us and join our Ravelry groups for Leading Men Fiber Arts and Dramatic Knits. And as always, you can find the show on iTunes, YouTube, and dramaticknits.com.
Not com.
Not com. So until we see you again in about a week and a half,
we hope you
knit something
dramatic.